They froze because they knew. Not because you were loud, not because you begged for attention. They froze because their nervous system recognized the end before their brain could explain it. That moment when the room goes cold, when breath forgets its rhythm, when instincts whisper, "This isn't normal." Yeah, that moment. They were standing in front of the end, and they felt it. Because some energies don't announce themselves. They don't flex. They don't perform. They arrive like a verdict. You didn't walk in to be liked. You didn't come to compete. You didn't show up to prove anything. You came in carrying finality, and every seasoned pro in that arena felt it in the spine first. That quiet panic, that internal stutter, that sudden memory of every shortcut they took, every comfort they protected, every truth they avoided. That's why it went silent. Silence isn't empty. Silence is recognition without language. They froze because they knew the rules no longer applied. They froze because the script they memorized didn't cover you. They froze because they were staring at something they couldn't train for. You don't scare people with power. Power can be measured. Power can be copied. Power can be explained away. You scare them with certainty, the kind that doesn't ask permission, the kind that doesn't rush, the kind that looks around a room and already knows how it ends. You didn't say a word, but your presence asked a question no one wanted to answer. What if everything you built isn't enough? That's when the professionals start sweating, not on the outside, inside. Because pros survive on patterns, on repetition, on believing tomorrow will look like yesterday. And then you step in, different rhythm, different silence, different gravity. You didn't raise the temperature, you dropped it. Cold rooms don't lie. Cold rooms tell the truth fast. They felt it when their confidence hesitated, when their posture shifted half an inch, when their breath went shallow for no reason. That's when they knew. Before the crowd, before the noise, before the explosion, they were standing in front of the end, not death, something worse, the end of certainty, the end of dominance, the end of believing they were special just because they arrived first. Because here's the secret no one admits out loud. Most people don't fear losing. They fear being exposed. Exposed as temporary, exposed as replaceable, exposed as someone who peaked inside a system that no longer exists. You're not here to climb their ladder. You're here to burn the blueprint. That's why they froze. You moved like someone who already survived something brutal, like someone who stopped asking for approval a long time ago, like someone who learned to be alone without collapsing. That terrifies rooms full of applause addicts. They saw it in your eyes. Not hunger, not ego, resolve. The kind that comes after pain, after betrayal, after nights where quitting would have been easier. And you didn't. You didn't walk in hoping to win. You walked in expecting the truth to surface. And when truth enters a room, masks suffocate. That's when the arena exploded. But understand this. The explosion wasn't joy at first. It was shock. The crowd didn't cheer because they understood you. They cheered because their bodies reacted before their minds caught up. People always feel authenticity before they explain it. They felt something break. They felt hierarchy collapse. They felt the old gods blink. That roar, that wasn't hype. That was release. Release from mediocrity, release from repetition, release from watching the same faces win by default. You didn't inspire them, you disrupted their boredom. And disruption always sounds violent before it sounds beautiful. Let me tell you something they won't. The moment they froze, the moment the room went quiet. That was the most honest feedback you'll ever get. Applause can lie, silence can't. Silence means we didn't expect this. Silence means this doesn't fit our categories. Silence means we might be in trouble. That's the sound of limits being challenged. You're not here to be understood quickly. You are here to force recalibration, and it won't always explode right away. Sometimes it starts with whispers, side glances, subtle resistance, unspoken hostility disguised as politeness. That's how you know it worked. If everyone likes you instantly, you didn't touch anything real. Real presence destabilizes. Real growth threatens. Real evolution makes professionals uncomfortable. Good. Let them freeze. Let them feel that cold. Because while they're trying to explain you, you're already moving past them. They'll replay that moment later, alone, quiet, wondering why their confidence shook for no visible reason, and that question will haunt them longer than any loss. What if that was the beginning of my replacement? You don't need revenge. You don't need validation. You already won the deeper game the second the room went still. Remember this: noise is easy, presence is rare, and the end never announces itself with fireworks. It arrives and lets everyone feel it first. They froze because they knew. They were standing in front of the end. Then the arena exploded, and you walked forward like nothing unusual happened. After the noise fades, after the lights stop shaking, something else happens that nobody claps for. They start watching you differently. Not with admiration, not with applause, with calculation, because once the arena explodes, the real danger begins. That's when the veterans retreat into their heads. That's when the smiles turn strategic. That's when respect gets tangled with fear. You see crowds celebrate disruption. Systems hunt it. And you didn't just disrupt the game. You disrupted the order. They start asking quiet questions they never had to ask before. How long has this been building? What did we miss? Is this a fluke or a fracture? That's when you realize something most people never understand. The loudest moment is never the most important one. The most important moment is the stillness after. That's when your name gets mentioned in rooms you'll never enter. That's when doors quietly lock. That's when alliances shift without announcement. Because now you're not a participant, you're a variable. And variables terrify controlled environments. Some will try to copy you. They'll steal your posture, your cadence, your silence. It won't work. You can't imitate what was forged under pressure. You can't replicate scars without bleeding. You can't fake that calm unless you've stared at collapse and didn't flinch. Others will try to provoke you, pull you into ego, bait you into explaining yourself. That's another trap. Explanation shrinks power. Silence lets it breathe. You don't owe anyone clarity. Let them misunderstand you. Let them project. Let them guess wrong. Confusion is protection. Because the truth is, you didn't rise overnight. You didn't arrive suddenly. You were invisible while you were becoming lethal. While they were polishing trophies, you were sharpening tolerance for pain. While they were chasing validation, you were learning how to move without it. While they were loud about their wins, you were quiet about your endurance. That's why the moment hit so hard. They weren't reacting to what they saw. They were reacting to what they felt catching up. Time, pressure, the cost they avoided. You represent consequences deferred. And that's why some of them will secretly root against you. Not because you're wrong, but because if you succeed, it exposes their comfort. Your existence asks an uncomfortable question. What if discipline beats privilege? What if patience beats hype? What if silence beats noise? That's a dangerous idea in any arena. So don't expect fairness, don't expect guidance, don't expect applause to last. Applause is seasonal. Presence is permanent. Your job now is not to impress. It's to remain unchanged. Same walk, same restraint, same refusal to chase reactions. Because the moment you start performing for the crowd, you give the power back. Stay colder than their opinions. Stay slower than their expectations. Stay grounded while they spiral. Let them talk. Let them speculate. Let them build myths around you. Legends don't correct rumors. They let time do the work. And one day, quietly, inevitably, you'll notice something shift again. The freezes will last longer. The explosions will feel smaller. And the resistance will turn into resignation. That's when you'll know you're no longer an event. You're a constant. And constants don't need arenas to prove themselves. They change the game just by existing. At this stage, something subtle happens inside you too. The applause doesn't land the way it used to. The noise feels distant, almost irrelevant. Not because you're arrogant, but because you've crossed a line most people never even see. You've realized that attention is cheap, but self-command is rare. And that realization rewires you. You stop moving for momentum, you start moving for position. While everyone else is reacting to yesterday's explosion, you're already calculating the silence that comes after the next one. Because you understand this now. Every system adapts. Every hierarchy defends itself. Every gatekeeper smiles while sharpening the blade. So you don't rush. You don't announce. You don't celebrate prematurely. You let them underestimate the depth. They think the moment was the miracle. They don't see the infrastructure behind it. They didn't see the nights you trained without witnesses. The discipline that outlasted motivation. The restraint it took to stay quiet when you could have spoken. That restraint is what separates you. Most people confuse confidence with noise. You learned confidence is stillness under pressure. And that stillness, it infects rooms. People start mirroring your pace without realizing it. Meetings slow down. Conversations tighten. Egos stumble over their own urgency. You don't dominate by force. You dominate by altering the tempo. That's why you feel heavier now, why your presence seems to bend outcomes before decisions are made. It's not mysticism, it's inevitability. You've become someone who finishes things, and finishers terrify starters. Because starters love beginnings. They love sparks. They love the illusion of potential. Finishers live in endings. They understand cost. They accept loneliness. They're comfortable being misunderstood for long periods of time. That's you now. And here's the uncomfortable truth you must carry without flinching. This path gets quieter. Not lonelier, quieter. Less validation, fewer invitations, more distance. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because proximity to you forces reflection. And most people avoid mirrors. Some will call you cold. Others will say you've changed. Let them. Change is the tax for evolution. You didn't lose warmth. You learned where to spend it. On discipline, on precision, on moments that actually matter. You no longer burn energy proving yourself to rooms that already felt the truth. Because deep down, you know something that can't be unseen. Once a room freezes for you once, it never forgets. Even if they clap louder next time. Even if they pretend it was normal. Even if they downplay it publicly, their body remembers. And bodies don't lie. That's why your job isn't to chase bigger explosions. It's to become unavoidable. Unavoidable in consistency, unavoidable in presence, unavoidable in outcome. Let them prepare. Let them adapt. Let them talk. Every move you make now should feel calm, almost boring. Because the real shock is how often you deliver. Explosions impress once. Reliability changes history. And you're no longer here to shock rooms. You're here to own time.